everyone. In this Ivanti video, I'm going to talk about the different ways available to you to get your inventory data into License Optimizer. But first, an analogy. If you own an industrial scale glasshouse where you grow strawberries, the likelihood is that you will invest the time and effort required to have an irrigation system that enables you to easily water each of your plants all at once. However, if you have a remote field of crops that has no access to a water supply, you will probably fill a bowser with water and tow it to the field every week or so. And you might also use a bowser when you extend your glasshouses until you've extended your irrigation system to cover the new crops. And if a neighbour asks you to look after a plant, you're unlikely to connect it to your irrigation system. You're more likely to use an old-fashioned watering can. Similarly, when it comes to getting your inventory data into License Optimizer, there are three main methods you can use. Ideally, you want to be getting the bulk of your inventory data into License Optimizer using the Ivanti Neurons platform. There is some initial setup effort, but then you can pretty much leave it alone. Endpoint Manager and Data Center Discovery will discover your devices and the software on them, including any updates, and push this data to the Ivanti Neurons platform, from where you can import it into License Optimizer. Sometimes, however, there will be bits of your network where you either can't or aren't allowed to use discovery tools. In these places, you need to manually audit each device using the template spreadsheets that you can download from License Optimizer. It may be that you will also need to use this temporarily for new domains or as a result of an acquisition, in which case you want to be implementing Endpoint Manager or Data Center Discovery as soon as possible and using those tools to audit your estate. If you do have to manually audit your estate onto a spreadsheet, remember that you will have to maintain these spreadsheets, updating them as your estate updates. So there are two good reasons for using Endpoint Manager or Data Center Discovery with the Ivanti Neurons platform wherever possible. 1. Updates will be automatically discovered for you, so you can be more confident in the accuracy of your data and how up to date it is. And 2. You won't have to go and manually audit Digby in Finance's desktop computer while he tells you about his many ailments. You'll thank me for this advice. I've struggled to think of a good reason to use the third method, which is creating items manually in License Optimizer. I suppose if some new licensable software has been added to a disconnected device, you could add it manually. But even then, I would recommend updating your disconnected devices spreadsheet and re-importing that. So my recommendation is that you import what you can from the Ivanti Neurons platform, and for the other devices, decide on a set of data sources that you're going to create along with a matching set of spreadsheets and stick to them. Update these spreadsheets as necessary and re-import them with the merge option selected. Don't create a new data source to add new items to the same area, as this can lead to duplicates if different data sources contain the same inventory data. And wherever possible, correct errors in the data as close to the source as possible. Avoid clearing the Lock to Audit tool checkbox on the OSI page if you can. As soon as you do this, you are committing yourself to maintaining this record separately from your data import. It is much better to try to make the change in the original data source and re-import it, remembering to select the Merge option. There's another advantage of using Endpoint Manager with the Ivanti Neurons platform and License Optimizer in this way. If you set things up like this, then if Digby installs a copy of Microsoft Project that he has no license for, Endpoint Manager will discover it and post that information to Ivanti Neurons, where License Optimizer will find it and highlight that your license position has changed for the worst when you next run a reconciliation. And then you can send someone to have a quiet word with Digby, explaining that you've remotely uninstalled the offending software using Endpoint Manager and that you'd prefer he didn't do that kind of thing in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. There's another video in this series that describes the best strategy for implementing data import into License Optimizer from the Ivanti Neurons platform. I put a link to that video in the description, along with a link to the License Optimizer help, which contains more detail. If you found this video useful, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to see more videos about all our products.